Well, the holidays, they can be difficult for some folks dealing with mental health struggles, or it's just a difficult time of year, no matter what's going on. That's why we invited our friend, psychologist Dr. Ritch Hall, this morning to talk about it. He joins us in the studio this morning with some tips for taking care of our mental health this holiday season. Good morning, first of all. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to have you in. Always have good advice. I wanted to start by talking first off about stress. There are so many different ways stress can kind of show up this time of year. Whether it's you're trying to give the perfect Christmas and everything, getting everything done before Christmas, or whether it's stress of maybe having to be around family you're not used to being around, or travel, or whatever. What are some tips for dealing with anxiety and stress this time of year?
Yeah, so I think key in there is this idea that you just said, perfect. How can it be perfect? And I think we need to sometimes adjust our expectations. So going with the expectation that you want to have a good time, but that nothing can be the perfect time, right? And recognizing what your ultimate goal is, which is often just to connect with family members, enjoy your time with family members. And that means being present. That means not being inside your head so much to sort of move things around to make things absolutely perfect. So how can you give up that idea of perfection? Always, I encourage people to work on their breathing, making sure that they're not getting into shallow breaths, making sure that their body is sort of in tune with the present moment. And once again, letting go of some of those lofty expectations. This is going to be a picture-perfect, picturesque movie-style Christmas experience. But instead, just enjoy the people you're with and enjoy the time you're in.
Yeah, the perfect present doesn't always exist out there.
It doesn't really exist at all. And yet, people, they sell it on TV because they have to, because they need you to buy stuff.
Yeah, well, and that brings up one of the things. I saw a quote somewhere where somebody was talking about, despite what the commercials and the movies make us think this time of year, there's really no one right way to feel. Like, we don't all have to be 100% full of joy this time of year.
Right. And sometimes some of the memories that we cherish are the times where things went wrong, but we still had a good time. And we forget that when we're in the moment trying to facilitate the best time, right? And so some of those little quirks and interesting sort of deviations could be some of what could be like a miracle of the moment, as opposed to looking to, once again, create or harvest the most fun out of any one situation.
Yeah, something somebody said to me one time that really stuck was, it's okay to feel two things at once, too. It's okay to be happy, but also be sad because maybe you're missing a loved one this year, or that type of thing. So we can feel two things at once.
Right. No, we are very emotionally complex creatures. So the fact that we're sort of aiming only for joy and happiness can make us miss out on some of the other multiple feelings we might be feeling. And it's okay to have some sadness. Say you're missing loved ones from previous years. Say you're grieving things that might be happening right now, or dealing with things right now, and that you could still find moments of joy in that, while also recognizing that there might be sadness, resentment, whatever.
If some people are not able to get with family or friends or whoever they would like to be with this year, maybe because some of the storm we might have, or they're just not able, they're working, that type of thing. What are some ideas you have to kind of deal with isolation?
I always tell people to try and build community, which can be hard as we get into the holidays because the time for building is sort of before, but you might still have some social and emotional connections you can reach out to, be it within your community, maybe coworkers, maybe a family you can send a text message, a call to, a FaceTime with. Try and connect in some form or fashion if you have those connections. And also the idea that you can reach out. There's going to be hundreds of volunteer opportunities during the holidays, finding maybe non-traditional ways to make connections with other people, because we need people. We're social creatures.
That is really important. I think the whole volunteering thing too, you're right. I mean, and I've seen that there's lots of studies about how volunteering makes us feel.
Yes, often when we're feeling our most alone, doing something for someone else can make us feel just connected with humanity. And so that can kind of help someone who's feeling bad, down this time of year, just feel like they're contributing in some way and not just by themselves.
I'm going to take that on as a challenge for myself. I'm going to look up some places that people might be able to volunteer, because especially there are probably going to be shelters open with the storm coming. So I'm going to try to get that out there and see if people need that resource. And I'll get that later on my Facebook or local12.com. But thank you so much, Dr. Hall. And if people need to or want to reach out to you in your practice, where can they find you?
Yes, I got a practice over in Northside, so I am at I'm just a couple doors up from the library in Northside. My practice is PsychWorks LLC, so PSYCHWORKS, as in psychology
And you work with kids and adults?
I work with kids and adults and couples, yes.
All right, Dr. Hall, thank you, and happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you too.
And I did want to say as well, the big takeaway we want folks to know is that if you are struggling, you are definitely not alone. If you need help, you can call the Suicide Crisis Hotline. And even, just if you need to talk to somebody, they're there. The number is 988, and you can always text the number as well to chat with trained counselors if you just want to kind of text with somebody. Time now is 9:27. A Covington pantry is making sure families have food and presents under the tree. Plus, you can watch a Christmas Queen right here.